G'day guys, Beau here at KG5 Media. We're here for our 90-year celebration, 1931 to obviously the present time now. This is going to be named Makings of Glenorchy Cricket Club. I'm here with Mike Gandy, a historian and who runs the Cricket Tas Museum. First off, Mike, thanks for being here.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. I'm looking forward to being part of your exercise. Yeah, excellent.
So first off, Mike, do you want to tell us a little bit about the beginnings of Glenorchy?
Yeah, well, cricket has played an important part in the development of community activities in Glenorchy, as has football, as has much the same all over the place. But at Glenorchy, we know that there was a cricket club at Glenorchy in 1868. We think that it lapsed in 1878. And we know that there was a Glenorchy Cricket Club in 1923. It probably played in a local central district competition which took in teams Austin's Ferry and maybe out as far as Brighton. But it was played on concrete, and it was played at what we call now know as the Edie Street ground, but it was called the Glenorchy Recreation Ground. And we understand that ground was in use in the late 1880s or thereabouts. Exactly when a concrete wicket was put in there, we haven't been able to identify. But we do know that around about the time that Glenorchy came on board as a cricket team in 1923, the council built some club rooms, or change rooms more than club rooms, and it was parked probably around about mid-wicket on the Eady Street side. But there was no Eady Street at that particular stage, and I'll come on to that a little bit later. When the TCA admitted Kingborough and Glenorchy to the TCA competition in 1931-32 season, things changed very much out here in Glenorchy. For the first time, Glenorchy had a senior cricket team, and that was important for the area. But of course, we had more than one team. We had two teams, so we needed at least two grounds to play cricket on. And so the Hobart Council were able to talk with the people that ran the showground out at Elwick, and two cricket pitches were put into the showground area, and around the same sort of time, there was an area which is now known as the KG5 ground, but it was the Grove Estate, which was a large expanse of land that ran from the Glenorchy railway station all the way to Montrose Bay, and in that particular area there were cricket grounds established as well. But back to Edie Street, or the Glenorchy Recreation Ground. That was to become the home of the Glenorchy Cricket Club for 65 years until 1996, when we relocated to KG5, and we've been to KG5 for the next 25 years.
So do you want to tell us a little bit about why you moved from Eady Street to KG5?
I think the Glenorchy Council had long wanted the cricket and football clubs to be on the same ground, and there was much concern in the cricket club that we would lose our independence if we moved to KG5, and so the cricket club fought council about that particular move. And it's interesting, you know, when you drive down Grove Road after 25 years, there is still no sign to say where the Glenorchy cricket ground. Yeah. Just continuing with the development of cricket's use of Edie Street. I mentioned that in 1923 we had a grandstand or dressing rooms, very primitive construction provided. But in 1952, the council, probably because Glenorchy were now winning TCA premiership, could see the value in improving facilities at the Glenorchy Recreation Ground, and they built club rooms. And those club rooms are still in existence today, although they've been extended at each end to be used by the cricket club and the rugby club. Other changes that took place at Edie Street, we've seen turf wickets established at the top end. But when the state government decided to grub out all the fruit trees between the ground and Tolosa Street, the whole thing changed, and so we had housing department homes built, and running alongside the cricket ground was Edie Street, so the name Glenorchy Recreation Ground changed to Eady Street Ground, and we still know it as that.
So Mike, do you want to talk to us a little bit about the eras of Glenorchy?
90 years, in that period of time, I can suggest there is one period of note. It's a period of 25 years, and it's the Rodwell era. It was just a dynamic time for the club, and we won so many premierships, not just in first grade, but in second grade and third grade, and we had a mortgage on the club championship. In fact, I think in the first 50 years, Glenorchy won the club championship 30 times, and most of those were in the Rodwell era. Since that period, which I suggest was around about 1945 to 1965, we've had a couple of shorter periods. There was the period in the 70s, which I call the Coburn-Richardson period, and in more recent times, in the 20 teens, we've got the Brett Jeeves era, and Brett's attention to the club when he came on board to coach dynamically changed where this club had been and where it is now. There probably is one other period, and that's when we first really started after our admission in 31, 32, and that would have been Skitchy James's time with the club. Skitchy or Gerald James's time with the club was fortunate in that when Glenorchy was admitted to the association, it was a time of district cricket, and there was much debate as to where Glenorchy's boundary with Newtown would be. Newtown, of course, didn't really want Glenorchy into the competition because it ate their district, and I think it was agreed initially that Hopkins Street would be the boundary of Glenorchy and Newtown. But not long after that, they finally settled things down, and the boundary was determined as the municipal boundary at Creek Road. And when that happened, Gerald James became a Glenorchy player, and we really appreciated his time with the club because he's turned out to be one of the greatest long-serving all-rounders in grade cricket.
So guys, this wraps up our part one of the history and making of Glenorchy. I'd just like to thank Mike again for being here and introducing us to our, history. I guess a really great insight, and thanks, Mike.
My pleasure. Look forward to talking to you again.